the Blue Jays were at Rogers Center. They liked it so much they played 19 innings in that game against the Tigers. They have won 8 of their last 12 home games, looking to recapture those numbers against Joe Madden's Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay has had a disappointing season by their standards. They're 3 games under 500. Let's take a look at their lineup. Top of the order is the leadoff man, Desmond Jennings. He's hit well against the Blue Jays throughout his career, and it's no different this year. 346 average with 6 extra base hits. And then down in the bottom of the order, they finally get Will Myers back. He had a broken wrist. His numbers against the Blue Jays have been outstanding since he's come into the American League. He has been a big void in their offense. He is back, and they're anxious for him to finish up strong in the last 6 weeks of the season.
Marcus Stroman, the 23-year-old, is making his 15th career start. He's made 5 earlier appearances this season as a starter. He's 6-4 with a 3.12 ERA. Last time out did not go so well for Stroman. I was in Chicago. He did not get out of the first inning. 2/3 of an inning, giving up 5 earned runs. It was the shortest start of the season for Stroman, and he is certainly looking to rebound from that.
Take a look at the defense behind Marcus Stroman. It's Cabrera, Rasmussen, Maltese to the regular outfield from left to right. Danny Valencia has done a nice job over at third base. This is his 8th start. Reyes and Thomason up the middle with the left-hander on the mound. Encarnacion is at first. Deanna Navarro will team up with Marcus Stroman, trying to turn things around after that last start.
Steve Tollefson gets his 21st start at second base this season, giving Munenori Kawasaki the night off against the lefty Drew Smyly.
It is a beautiful night here at Rogers Center. It is 20 degrees and the roof is wide open. And Marcus Stroman, you can bet he's chomping at the bit after that last start. He lasted just 2/3 of an inning going out against the White Sox. Desmond Jennings steps in, and we are set. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is upstairs for a ball, and we are underway. Jennings batting .239 for the season, but against the Blue Jays, he's a .346 hitter. The fly ball into center. Easy play for Rasmus. He is there. 1 down. Well, Marcus Stroman has a wide assortment of pitches, but his bread and butter is getting that fastball over early.
He's got a good fastball. He'll average 94 miles per hour with it. He'll use it predominantly, but that cutter is a key pitch. That was it right there, around 91, 92. He'll get that just to cut away from the right-handed hitters. He has the slider, changeup, and curveball. That curveball's been the devastating strikeout pitch for him, combined with his fastball. We'll see how he does tonight, especially against the left-handed batters, down and in.
So with 1 out, then Zobrist will step to the plate. Zobrist is a switch hitter. It's the first time the Rays have seen Marcus Stroman. He goes after the first pitch. That's pulled foul outside of first. Zobrist, a terrific player, switch hitter. He can play anywhere. You'd ask him to play in the outfield, he'll be there. Plays all over on the infield. Tonight he's at second base. Bouncing ball, Stroman, a very good athlete, makes an easy play of it. 2 up, 2 down. Marcus Stroman has a lot of energy, and he's athletic. And prior to his going into the bullpen to warm up, this is Stroman on the field playing lawn toss.
And some of these younger guys, they like to really stretch it out. Some of them will go right from that left field line all the way to the right center field wall to really elongate those muscles in the arm and really stretch it out. They feel when they can let it go like that, then they bring it into 60 feet. That's when they can air it out.
2 up, 2 down for Stroman. Matt Joyce will step in. Joyce is the left fielder tonight. I spoke to Deanna Navarro about the last start. Stroman struggled 2/3 of an inning, and I said, what was going on with Stroman? He said he was just all over the place. Never really commanded his fastball, and with that he was pitching from behind.
How many times do we talk about fastball command? It's the most important thing for any pitcher, but when Marcus is good, we've seen him. The fastball is good. He's locating it, mixing in his other pitches. One thing I noticed too, he hit Alexei Ramirez with a pitch in that first inning and didn't see him pitch inside much after that.
Joyce is late on that pitch. It's 0-2. Marcus Stroman is a very bright young man, and he understands that there's going to be adjustments throughout his career. He has pitched well against the East this season. This will be his 5th start against the division rival. Boy, there's that 2-seamer. What a good start for Marcus Stroman. He's already an out better than he was last time out. scored 9 runs on 15 hits on Wednesday afternoon, wrapping up their 8-game road trip. Take a look at the top of the order. It's Jose Reyes, and he has been on a run lately. Against the Rays this season, he's at .385, 10 for 26. You remember, he was out after his first at-bat in that season-opening series down at St. Petersburg. Jose Bautista in right field against left-handed pitching, and that's who they'll face tonight. He's got a 1.097 OPS, 9 homers, and 17 RBIs against lefty pitching, and that's what he's dealing with tonight in Drew Smyly.
The 25-year-old left-hander is making his 4th start, 3rd on the road since the Rays acquired him in that deal that involved David Price from the Tigers July 31st. He's gone at least 7 innings, back-to-back starts. Tampa Bay pitching coach Jim Hickey likes what he has seen from his newest student.
Gets ahead of Reyes with the first pitch, strike. Jose Reyes has been a red-hot hitter of late. His batting average up to .294. Good changeup, and Reyes is out in front. Drew Smyly has really added to the youthfulness of this rotation. They are the 2nd youngest pitching staff in the American League. Reyes with another hit, could be extra bases. Over to cut it off quickly was Kevin Kiermaier. He is a terrific defender. Take a look at the defense in the outfield. Kiermaier is in right, man. He can really cover some ground. Matt Joyce, Desmond Jennings, and Kevin Kiermaier. Terrific outfield. Longoria, 2-time Gold Glover at third. Escobar and Zobrist up the middle. James Loney, a good glove at first. And Kurt Casale, really interesting behind the plate. He's got quite a collegiate career.
Casale gets his 16th start. Ryan Hannigan still on disabled list with that oblique strain, but Jim Hickey talked about Casale also. There's a catcher that really likes to execute the game plan that they have for these Blue Jays hitters.
Got to be aware if you're Reyes, Smyly has 7 pickoffs this year. He is very quick to first. Melky Cabrera, switch hitter, batting .314. Smyly unloads it in a hurry, boy. Very short stride, not much of a leg kick, and he gets it to his catcher in good shape.
And that makes it difficult on base runners. Even if they're thinking of going first move, his delivery is so quick to the plate. It's going to be very difficult to steal a bag off him.
Smyly jumps ahead, 0-2. Blue Jays don't have much information on Smyly. He appeared in 3 games all last season while he was working out of the bullpen for the Tigers. This is his first career start against the Blue Jays. That's not his good move by any means. Reyes has 23 steals. He's only been caught twice. That's a little better. Still not the A move.
Getting ahead 0-2, he may be anticipating that Reyes looking for possibly a breaking ball or something soft, potentially in the dirt. Good pitch to run on. So Smyly will keep him honest over there.
Bouncing ball. Zobrist steps on the bag, goes to first, double play. 2 outs. This is the 4th start for Drew Smyly since he was traded from the Tigers, and his numbers have been impressive.
Well, he's been very good, and we talk about pitching coach Jim Hickey. We say he's a guru. He's done a lot of good things with good young arms, and Drew Smyly coming over from Detroit, I think he's been a welcome addition for Hickey, and certainly taking him under his wing. I talked to Jim today about that, and they've worked on some things. He saw some minor things in his delivery, but more about his pitch selection and pitch execution. And that's something that he can thrive on. And again, that's why Casale behind the plate can help with that game calling.
Hickey is in his 8th season as the hitting coach for Tampa Bay. Jose Bautista, a big 3-run home run on Wednesday afternoon against Milwaukee. A couple of young pitchers there, and Chris Archer and Alex Cobb. And this is pitching university, if you will. They always talk about pitching, and they all learn from one another.
Some good young arms in this Tampa staff.
You know what it reminds me of, Joe? It reminds me of the Atlanta Braves early on with all the young pitchers. Of course, they had to give up a great one in David Price. Jeremy Hellickson, part of the 5-man rotation behind the skipper, Joe Madden. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bautista off the end of the bat. Yunel Escobar, the former Blue Jay, goes to first. Quick inning for Drew Smiley. Blue Jays get a single and nothing more. Scoreless after 1. For Tampa Bay, and if you look at his season numbers, you might not think they go along with Evan Longoria, and you'd be right. Take a look at his season this year. 2014, he's averaged just 250. His OPS is 709 compared to his career numbers, Joe. It's an off season for Longoria defensively.
It's an off season for Longoria, and it's an off season for these Tampa Bay Rays. You need your horses to perform, and when you have guys like that not really putting up their numbers that they're used to, that the team is used to, that hurts an already struggling offense. We know this is a pitching-rich organization, and the hitting is what's been an issue.
Longoria jumps on the first pitch, and we talk about him, and he delivers. A home run for Longoria, his 16th, and looked like he was sitting on that inside fastball. He jumped all over it, and he has given the Rays a 1-0 lead.
Well, a good veteran hitter like Longoria is a very smart hitter as well, and you just talked about it. Is he looking in there? I'll tell you one thing he is looking for is a first pitch fastball, and it's got that two-seam action that comes back onto the inner half of the plate, and he got the head out there. But that's what a veteran will do. He'll go up there knowing Stroman's coming off a rough start, looking to get ahead with fastballs tonight.
Longoria was looking for that pitch inside. You could see the front side opening up, and he took a guess, and he guessed right. Home run number 16 for Longoria, RBI number 68, and he has given the Rays a 1-0 lead. There's a fly ball into left center. Melky Cabrera is over. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by Jose Cuervo, the world's best-selling tequila. Have a story with Jose Cuervo.
Well, good veteran hitters will look for certain pitches, and that's what they do. And that's exactly what happened here with Longoria. You can see him cheating. As you said, he's flying open, looking on that inner half. Clearly not exactly where the ball was aimed for. See Deanna Navarro, you'll see that catcher's glove move when the pitcher misses his spot, and that's what happened right there to Stroman.
Well, Myers takes a first pitch strike. Myers missed 70 games with a fractured wrist. He was activated on Wednesday against the Tigers. He's a big part of their offense. He's 0 for 6 since his return, but obviously he's a big part of what they try to do offensively, and he was out for 70 games.
It's going to take some time. Your timing doesn't come right back in a hurry, and especially at the major league level. You can rehab all you want in the minor leagues, but this is different pitching up here.
There's that little cutter and no swing from the first base umpire, Jonathan Payne.
Stroman's fastball will be up around 94 miles per hour, but that cutter is in the 90-91 range, and that's the pitch right there where you try to get that right-handed batter just to get it off the barrel towards the end of his bat.
Came right back with the same pitch, and this one caught the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tried to get that 2-seamer back over the outside corner. Home run that Longoria hit is the 6th that Stroman has given up. Full count. Finds that outside corner with the fastball. Second strikeout for Stroman.
Jays on Sportsnet, brought to you by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. Experience the thrill today at your local Acura dealer. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
It is Friday, and part of the big Bacardi Fan Festival will be some of the activities outside of Gate 10. Yunel Escobar, big cut and a foul off at home plate. Escobar batting .250 for the season. He has just 4 home runs and has driven in 31. Escobar was with the Blue Jays 2010 through 2012, played 338 games with the Jays. He got a hanging breaking ball and jumped all over it, hit it into center. Second hit of the inning with 2 outs. Escobar, a single to center.
This is the danger for Marcus Stroman and any pitcher. When you get on the side of the baseball, that slider, see those fingers get on the side of the ball, and it's just going to spin. You're not going to get a whole lot of depth to that pitch. That downward rotation is what they want with that slider. Get on the side of it, just stay sideways. That ball stays elevated in the zone.
Curt Casali. He was originally drafted by the Tigers. He was traded here. Came over last year in a trade, and they really love the way he works behind the plate, filling in for Ryan Hennigan, as Joe mentioned. Hennigan's still on the disabled list.
And we talked about Jim Hickey and how he said that Casali likes to help us execute a game plan. They have game plans for every hitter of the opposing team to attack their weaknesses. Sometimes you might get a veteran type catcher that wants to do a little bit more of his own thing.
The little looper into right. Bautista is going to play it on a hop. Escobar goes first to third. Casali has a bloop single into right. After a 1-2-3 first inning, Tampa Bay has 3 hits and a run here in the second.
There's that little spin. You can see the little breaking ball. It's just a little bit of a cut, but that's exactly what Marcus wants to accomplish. Unfortunately, dropped in front of his right fielder, Jose Bautista. All you can do as a pitcher, you're trying to avoid the barrel, either work in on the bat or towards the end of the bat. He did just that. He accomplished what he wanted to do, just didn't get the result.
So with 2 outs and runners at the corners, Kevin Kiermaier, the right fielder. Much better quality fastball so far tonight, Joe, than we have seen from Stroman going back to his last start.
It's crisp, and it's more so than anything is that location. We talked about how important it is to locate the fastball. When you can locate your fastball, the other pitchers will work off of that. But if you cannot command it, then you cannot develop a pitch sequence.
Off the end of the bat, Reyes will go to first in time. Tampa Bay takes the lead. Leadoff home run by Evan Longoria, his 16th.
Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. Experience the thrill today at your local Acura dealer.
Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead. Evan Longoria with a leadoff home run in the second inning. Tampa Bay has been scuffling. That's just their 96th home run of the season. They're 12th in the American League in that department. They've averaged just 3.9 runs per game. That's 13th. Offensively, it's been a struggle. Edwin Encarnacion takes a first pitch strike.
You can say it all starts on the mound, and I really believe it does, but you do have to hit a little bit. And they've pitched very well, had some struggles in their bullpen, but you still have to score runs at some point.
Well, Smiley is working quickly. It's a pretty good indication he feels pretty good about the stuff he's taken to the mound tonight.
Got a good tempo going. As a catcher, you want to put those signs down when he's ready and keep it rolling for him.
There's a fly ball into shallow center. Jennings has great speed, and he gets there to make the catch. Well, Smiley was a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher with the Tigers, but they've added a couple of wrinkles here since he's come to Tampa Bay.
Well, he certainly mixes in that slider, but he's got like a little cutter now as well. We talked about Stroman's cutter. The slider's going to have a little more depth to it, more of a swing and miss type pitch, whereas the cutter, and he'll throw that along with the slider, he's going to cut the ball. It'll stay on the same plane a little bit more, but when he'll really use that pitch is getting into right-handed batters. He'll throw that glove side, which is inside, to the right-handed batters. Look for him to jam some righties with that cutter.
Danny Valencia. It's that first pitch off the plate. Valencia has the most at bats against Drew Smiley in this lineup. He's 2 for 7 against the lefty. Valencia's made some adjustments working with Kevin Seitzer. He wants to improve his numbers against right-handed pitching so he can make a run at being an everyday player once again. He's done a good job since he's come over from the Royals, batting .321.
You know, speaking with Danny right when he came over in the trade, and I talked about that reputation as being the platoon type guy. His splits were not good. He only hit left-handed pitching. He wants to change that, and the first way to do that, he said, is to get back to hitting the way he used to, which is using the whole field.
There's one line right into that shift. Escobar at shortstop. That's the second out of the inning. Smiley has faced the minimum so far. 5 batters through an inning and 2/3. The double play off the bat of Melky Cabrera helped him out with that.
You come around the baseball, your hands get away from you a little bit, and then you're in pull mode, so your bat is actually in the hitting zone and out of the hitting zone, so it's not on plane very long. When you're thinking middle of the field and the other way, and you hear hitting coaches talk about it all the time, the whole purpose is so that bat is in the hitting zone a long time, and it frees you up to hit more pitches.
Yonder Navarro takes one inside. Yonder, of course, he really established himself playing for the Tampa Bay Rays. He was a big part of their World Series team in 2008. He began his career in the Yankees system, got to the big leagues in 2004. Went to the Dodgers for a couple years, but came back to Tampa Bay in 2006. Done a nice job for the Blue Jays, batting .273. Breaking ball. Smiley. Another easy inning. He's faced a minimum through 2 innings. Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead. Stroman, it's generally the fastball, and that's what he's trying to do tonight.
Well, exactly, especially coming off of a rough outing that he had in Chicago. He was getting hit with all his pitches, slider, cutter, changeup. He's coming out tonight. Gianna Navarro clearly has a game plan to get ahead with the fastball. Fortunately to Longoria, he just missed on the other side of the plate. When you do that, good hitters will get you, but not uncommon to stay aggressive with that fastball early and try to get ahead of hitters. Have to find that command.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with this at all. I think it's a great approach. You're trying to send a message to the team, hey, I can throw my fastball where I want to. The problem was the pitch to Longoria. He missed all the way across the plate. He's trying to go down and away. He missed up and in.
That's right. Gianna Navarro is going to set up away, just trying to get ahead with this fastball, and watch where the pitch is all the way on the other side of the plate. And when you miss by 17 inches, good hitters, especially Longoria in that situation, might have been cheating a little bit, looking inside there and got it.
There's no question in my mind he was looking for a fastball, and then when he missed up and in, that played right into his stroke. So it's 1-0. Back to the top of the order. Desmond Jennings flying out to center, his first time up. Another fastball. You know what? And you don't have to trick hitters. You can tell them what's coming. You locate pitches and get movement on the pitches and change speeds. You don't have to trick them.
Best pitch in baseball is the fastball away at the knees. And if it's 91, 92, you can have a lot of success. That pitch right there.
That's all it is.
You cannot do a lot with that pitch as a hitter.
Marcus Stroman is making his 9th start here at Rogers Center, and this is a comfortable place for him, considering this is a hitter's ballpark. There's no question about that, and he has really reversed the trend. Yeah, some pitchers just feel certain parts they feel more comfortable on the mound. I remember talking to Hutchison earlier in the season. He said some ballparks, just with the stands the way they are and where the hitter looks like he is, sometimes you feel like you're higher up on the mound and closer to the plate and you're on top of the hitter. It's just a good mental image, and they feel comfortable doing it. Where was that one? Looked like it was well in the strike zone. It was called a ball. Ben Zobrist is now 33 years old. He drills that one, but it's well fouled. Zobrist is one of those players, Joe, that gets overlooked a lot. He was acquired in a trade with the Houston Astros back in 2006, but boy, has he been a big part of what Tampa Bay has done. Well, and he does so many things. A switch hitter, plays good defense, and this is just a guy that Joe Madden just likes to pencil into that lineup every day. Tried to check his swing and did, according to the third base umpire, James Hoy. 2 balls and a strike. Another fastball ripped foul. Joe, you can vouch for this. You've been through this situation before. Sometimes as a catcher, you'll shy away from pitches because they're not there at a particular time. He's throwing a lot of fastballs, and the one breaking ball he threw to Escobar was a hanger. That's right, and when a pitcher cannot execute a certain pitch, you stay away from it. That's part of your game plan. You may have a game plan coming into the ball game, but when the pitcher doesn't have a particular pitch, you've got to go to plan B. There's another good fastball. 95 for the strikeout. 2 down.
Save during the homeowner sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful evening outside of Rogers Center as well. Entertainment on Festival Friday. There's that breaking ball, and there's just not a lot of bite to it just yet. A lot of times when a pitcher tries to throw it even better, when you're struggling with it, you try harder and that front shoulder flies open and the arm trails, and again, it's everything's in behind and you're leaving the ball up. That ball's got to get out front, the release point. There's that good changeup with a lot of late movement. 86 and a downward break. Came back with it again. You can see, and this is what I'm taking from what he's done so far, he and Navarro both. I just don't think they have confidence in the breaking ball just yet. And in that situation, you do not want to get hurt with it. Right now, it's his 3rd or 4th best pitch. You can create about 3 different pitches with your fastball.
Sure you can. Location, change spots, and then when you mix in that changeup, if you're going to have a second best pitch, a changeup is a very good one to have.
There's a four-seamer where he buried it right on the inside corner.
And the reason that pitch is so effective right there is because the first 4 pitches are all on the outside corner or away. You get the hitter looking out there, leaning out there, and then you come back in with that fastball in the 90s. Very effective.
4 pitches away, that last one inside. Another breaking ball, just kind of a spinner.
It's not a good one.
We haven't seen that biting breaking ball that Stroman has featured.
And when we've seen him good, he's been good with that curveball, and it's down and in on the left-handed hitters, down in their shoe tops. Remember seeing Eric Hosmer earlier in the season for Kansas City. We saw him say wow afterwards. That's how sharp and late breaking it was.
Full count. Well, that's a pretty good pitch. Stroman didn't get the call. Joyce takes a 2-out walk. That's the first walk issued by Stroman. You know, I've mentioned this before, Joe, and I think it's a real problem. And the fact that umpires are under one umbrella now, there aren't an American League crew or a National League crew, and I don't think umpires get to see the players as often as they should. You see a pitcher for the first time, you don't recognize that movement, you don't have a feel for his breaking ball. I think it also helps managers. They know the umpires, they know the guy they can get the gears to, the guy they got to back off, but umpires, they might come to a city once a year.
Yeah, umpires can almost be like hitters facing pitchers, that familiarity, and when you know not only what their ball does, but perhaps the way they sequence their pitches.
You've had umpires sit up behind you and say, okay, tell me what this guy throws. Well, you know, when they have an American League umpire and he travels around the American League, they know pitchers a little bit better than umpires nowadays. Ball on a strike to Evan Longoria. Snap throw to first, and Joyce is back in ahead of the tag. Yeah, anytime you can pick up the 3rd out of an inning without throwing another pitch to Evan Longoria, that's something you want to try to accomplish.
Yeah, good idea right there by Deano Navarro, and if nothing else, it lets the entire Rays team know that I don't mind throwing. You better not get too much on your secondary leads.
Trying to go away. There's that break. A little bit of cutter. Cutter will be 90, 91 miles an hour. Slider will be a little bit slower than that. The curveball down in the mid-80s.
And that's a lot of movement right there on a cutter. Normally you're not going to get that type of depth, that downward rotation on the cutter at 90, 91 miles per hour.
Tollefson just moved back over to his left, and Longoria gets a base hit to center. Joyce goes first to third. With 2 strikes, Tollefson moved to the shortstop side of second.
It's a great pitch by Marcus Stroman. Deaner setting up out there and hits his spot. We talked about leading off this inning, the great location to Desmond Jennings, the outside fastball, and he hit his spot and hit it right at him. You see Tollefson sliding up the middle right here, but the problem is Deaner Navarro is going to call this pitch on the outer part of the plate. Stroman executes that, gets it on the outside corner. All he can really do with it is hit it to the right side. That's probably an out if Tollefson's playing his position.
Now, and this is a problem I have with some of these shifts. He moved before the sign was ever given to the pitcher. So you don't know what the catcher's going to call. You're just shifting on the count. I don't agree with that at all.
No, and if the fielder's going to move, now you're forcing the catcher's hand to say, okay, you want to go softer, come inside. Well, that might not be what I want to do with my pitcher Stroman right now. And this hitter, Longoria, up to bat. We saw what he did last time on a pitch on the inner part of the plate.
James Loney flied out to left field his first time up. Tampa Bay has a 1-0 lead. Louis Rivera goes by scouting reports, and they'll move the infielders according to those scouting reports. One and two.
And what's interesting on that move that Tollefson made, clearly their scouting report shows that with 2 strikes on Longoria, he's more inclined to use the middle of the field or the pull side, which actually goes against a lot of what hitting coaches would say, because what do hitting coaches say with 2 strikes? You want to stay short to the ball, use the middle of the field, and think the other way.
1-2, 2 outs. There's a fly ball into shallow center. Colby Erasmus gets there and ends the inning. Tampa Bay threatens in the third, but they strand a pair. They have a 1-0 lead against Marcus Stroman. On Wednesday afternoon in the 9th inning, he hit a home run against the left-hander Will Smith.
Colby likes to go down and get it. He's a classic left-handed hitter that likes the ball down. He called that lefty rake zone, down and in. Anything in the lower part of the plate, he'll jump all over, and you can see he'll jump on some off-speed pitches as well that miss middle in. But big power hitters like Colby, too, don't mind the ball out over the plate. He'll go out and get it and come around it. That's just Colby Rasmus. He's a dead pull hitter, mostly down in the zone, but either way, he's looking to pull the ball.
It's his third home run against lefty pitching this season. He took Dallas Keuchel deep. He took Cole Hamels deep, and on Wednesday he took Will Smith deep. He gets jammed on an inside pitch. 0-2.
Tough pitch to hit as a left-handed batter when that lefty pitcher comes inside. Smiley coming in there with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, because as a left-handed hitter, you don't see lefties as much, and that ball's coming from almost behind you, so you're looking more out over the plate. You don't see lefties come inside to left-handed hitters as much. You'll see them mostly go middle away and away with the breaking stuff. Look for something away. He went with a curveball there in the dirt and may go back away again.
The pop up over near the seats. Loney getting over there, and the fan reached over, and they're going to call that. He's out. Good call by the first base umpire, John Tumpane. John Gibbons is going to come out and plead his case, but that fan was clearly over the playing field. Loney was sliding to break his momentum, and Tumpane, to his credit, had a good angle to make the call.
Well, the fan clearly reached over the fence. Now, John Gibbons may argue that he was not going to catch this ball, which is a fair argument. It would have been a great catch, but if the fan comes over the field of play, which he clearly did, I believe it can be called, and John Tumpane jumped on that one right away.
There is no question that that was over the playing field, and Rasmus is going to be out as Gibbons gives up the argument, but I think that's a good call by the umpire.
Good effort by James Loney, too, from first base, sliding over there. That's what you want to do as a fielder. When you get close to that wall, you don't want to stay standing up and smash into it with your knees. The padding is there. He knows that. By sliding in, it's a much safer approach. He did the right thing. The fan helped him out.
Nolan Reimold, the DH tonight, batting in the 8th spot. Boy, Smiley's throwing a lot of strikes. Throwing strikes with everything. And look how quickly he's getting the ball and towing the rubber.
Exactly. And, you know, again, Catcher Kurt Casale is doing a great job behind the plate, getting him the ball, putting the sign down. That's what you want to do as a catcher. You want to feel that, work with your pitcher. Clearly he's got a nice tempo going. Do not break up that rhythm.
Smiley's thrown 22 of 28 strikes. There's that breaking ball. Casale was a senior draft out of Vanderbilt, and that should perk up your ears. Vanderbilt has been producing pitching like crazy, and Casale was the catcher. Good breaking ball, and Reimold strikes out. First strikeout night for Drew Smiley. He's got all of his pitches early in this game, Joe.
He really does. He's really changing speeds, first of all. When you've got that breaking ball over the top, he's throwing the changeup, the cutter. See the rotation on that ball going down, and it's the change of speed that really got Reimold right there.
See the bench giving Longoria the gears. He was headed off the field with 2 outs.
I think everybody's done that at least once.
Get ahead of yourself. Donaldson wasn't quite set, but you have seen how quickly that Smiley is working. You step in the box, you better have your finger on the trigger. Allison fouls it straight back, and once again Drew Smiley has an 0-2 count. Allison's been in a little bit of a funk of late. He's 0 for his last 14 with 5 strikeouts. Of course, his at-bats are intermittent, to be sure. He's come off the bench as a pinch hitter. He's come in late in the game as a defensive replacement, and it's difficult to maintain any kind of rhythm.
The single most difficult job in this game is to do what Steve Tollison's trying to do.
There's a liner, and that's going to get down for a base hit. That'll snap his 0 for 14. A 2-out single. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Well, the Orioles lost earlier today to the Cubs in Chicago. They were shut out 3-0. Jake Arrieta, the winning pitcher, the former Oriole. Well, that base hit by Tollison was a big one because it turns the lineup over and gets to Reyes, who's been scalding hot lately.
And it's so difficult. We talk about a Tollison who doesn't play very much. When he does, it's a pinch hit later in the game, or he goes in defensively. When you're not getting regular at-bats, it's very difficult to have your timing as a hitter.
Reyes pops this one up behind second base. Zobrist is there, and the inning is over. 2-out base hit. Base runner is stranded. We'll go to the 4th. Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead. Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and tweets. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. The Blue Jays Rundown, only on sportsnet.ca. And today the headline on the Rundown, top Blue Jays prospect Norris never satisfied, and he has really catapulted himself into prominence. He has made 3 stops in the minor leagues, and he's been great at Buffalo. He pitched last night, struck out 9 over 5 innings of work, gave up just 1 hit. That was a home run, but he's been dominant.
A lot of exciting young pitching in this Blue Jays organization right now. We're seeing a few of them already here this year in the major leagues in Toronto, but a couple more names coming along.
Well, Myers goes around on the first pitch. Myers was a strikeout victim his first time up. Another pitcher that pitched yesterday in the minor leagues, Roberto Osuna, a 19-year-old right-hander that's coming back from Tommy John surgery. His uncle, Antonio Osuna, pitched 11 years in the major leagues. His father pitched in Mexico. But Roberto Osuna is 6'2", weighs 230, and he's 19 years old. I have seen him throw, and he is a very interesting young man. So he's coming back from Tommy John. And, of course, Daniel Norris is 21 years old. He's got all 4 pitches, a terrific changeup. And to me, that's how you build a dominant team for the long haul.
And from within, so good to see these kids coming up through the Blue Jays organization and coming to fruition here in Toronto.
Now, anytime you see successful organizations, it's starting pitching year in and year out. Drew Hutchison, happy birthday to Drew. He's 24 years old today. He is another part of it. He gets overlooked sometimes, but he's still a youngster too, just getting his feet on the ground.
Well, I think that's what we forget sometimes. He's had such a great run there earlier in the season, and even some of the things we've seen from Stroman already. You forget the age of these kids. They're still learning how to pitch, let alone doing it at the major league level.
Well, Myers takes a leadoff walk, second walk issued by Stroman, and now it's time to take a look at the farm report, and we'll show you those 3 starts for Daniel Norris in AAA Buffalo. An ERA of just over 1. Opponent's batting average of 115. A whip is ridiculous. He's faced 56 batters and has 32 strikeouts.
That's dominance right there. You just look at those numbers, and that tells the whole story. He is absolutely overmatching AAA hitters.
Norris is from Johnson City, Tennessee. He really has caught the attention of everybody in the minor league system. There goes Myers. Navarro's throw is into the baseline. Tollefson does a terrific job of hanging in there and making sure that ball didn't go into center field. Myers picks up his 4th stolen base of the season.
Well, Myers got a real good jump off Stroman right here. DeAndre did all he could. It wasn't a great throw into the runner and short. Tollefson did a good job keeping that ball in the infield. Otherwise, Myers would have been scampering another 90 feet to third base. Toughest pitch for a catcher to handle is that down and away, and you've got to really rock and fire. Downer just didn't get a lot on that throw.
Escobar late on that ball and rips it into the seats. It's amazing that more fans aren't injured with the way those balls go into the seats. Got to pay attention when you're at the ballpark, that's for sure.
Well, especially on that side right now, Escobar doing everything he can to try to move that runner to third. He's going to try to hit this ball to the right side. He got a fastball. It was a cutter at 92, and he's just trying to go the other way, so he's letting that ball get deep, swinging late.
There's a good breaking ball. Escobar strikes out after the stolen base. That's a big out for Stroman.
Much better pitch here by Marcus, getting some good rotation and good location. This time he's getting the better spin on the ball. Late break. It looks like a fastball coming in, but look at how late that ball breaks. Good depth to it, down and away. Escobar swings right over top of it.
Kurt Casale, the catcher, he had a bloop single down the right field line his first time up. It was back in the 2nd inning. All of a sudden, the breaking ball starting to bite a little bit.
And as a catcher, DeAndre's going to it a little bit more now, so he gets a Good strike 3 pitch to Escobar. What's he do? Starts at first pitch to Casale, just in case he's looking for that first pitch fastball, which a lot of them were first time through the lineup.
We mentioned Stroman and Navarro. It's kind of a surveying trip through the first couple of innings. You try to figure out what's working for you. You can use the fastball, and now that Stroman has the two-seam fastball, it gives him an added dimension on that fastball.
The best approach pitching is if you can be aggressive with the fastball through that lineup at least the first time, mix in some secondary pitches. But if you can get through it with a couple of pitches, then these hitters, this lineup has not seen your whole repertoire as you get deeper into the ball game.
You saw that ball in the dirt. Navarro nodding to Stroman. That was a good pitch, even though it was in the dirt. And then you saw Stroman nodding in agreement.
Saying, yep, that's exactly what I meant to do with it.
That got away as Navarro was late getting down. He got that shin guard down. That might have caught him on the inside of the knee.
Well, it's one thing when you're calling off-speed pitch with runners on base, you have to anticipate that it's going to be in the dirt, and you want to beat that ball to the spot. You want to get down to your knees and get your body in a blocking position. Watch how late Navarro is getting down here. He's just getting down there. Even both knees didn't quite get down. That glove's got to fill that 5-hole. You got to create a wall right there. Little angle with your upper body. He's just late getting to his spot. If you don't get to the spot on time, that ball's going to deflect off you, and that's what it did.
That'll force the infield to come in, try to save this run at third. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. Tampa Bay up by 1. We still haven't seen his curveball tonight.
Hasn't been the good one there. He went to a breaking ball right there, but now with the count 2-2 and the infield in, if I'm Navarro, I'm thinking fastball in. Try to locate that good fastball at 93, 94 in the inner part of the plate, trying to jam the hitter right here so that he cannot extend his arms, get a ball to the outfield to catch this run in.
There's the inside pitch at 95. He must have been behind the plate at times.
Well, it's one thing to call the pitch, but it's another thing for your pitcher to execute it, and Marcus executed this pitch perfectly. Navarro setting up inside. You see the two-seam grip on the baseball. That's going to give some sink action down and in on the zone. Casale swings right over it. Great call, great execution by the pitch by Stroman.
Right fielder Kevin Kiermaier. He grounded out to short to end the second. Pickoff play is on, but Myers is back standing up.
Now that's a little bit more of a dangerous pickoff attempt. Earlier we saw Navarro throw one down to first, but the danger of it is with the runner running back to third base, if you hit that runner with the ball, or if your third baseman Valencia gets impeded by the runner at all, the ball's into left field and the run scores. With 2 outs, I'd focus on the hitter right here.
Up the middle, base hit over the glove of Stroman. Myers comes in to score, and Kiermaier's on his way to second. Boy, you talk about a hustle double right there. He was flying around the bases on a ground ball up the middle, never assuming anything.
I'm going to tell you what right now, Buck, is you know exactly what Kevin Kiermaier's doing. He's got the book on Colby Rasmus that he goes about balls, trying to go after balls rather gingerly and casually, and Kiermaier's rounding first base here, and he said right now, if I'm out at second, so what? The run is in, but I'm going to challenge him because Colby's just kind of coming in. Watch from center field right here. Colby's just base hit up the middle. He's just going to come get it, relax, his head's down, and then by the time he realizes Kiermaier's going, he makes him rush his throw. Jose's got to pick it out of the dirt. That is unbelievable to score that a double.
A ground ball double up the middle and an RBI for Kiermaier.
And that's where, as an outfielder, too, you have to know the batter. And at this point, we've seen Kiermaier in action. We've seen him run the bases and how aggressive he is. Any ball that he hits as an outfielder, you had better get on it and get it to the next base.
Desmond Jennings. Cut on and missed. It's a ball in the strike. What that does is it just encourages your whole team. Now you get the leadoff man up. With 2 outs, he's got a chance to drive in a run. So if Desmond Jennings hits the same ball, he's going to try to do the same thing.
Outfielders beware, and I think everybody's learned their lesson right now just from that play right there. But this is something widespread throughout the course of a team. You want everybody to run your bases like that. Be aggressive.
There shouldn't be any surprises on August 22nd. Kiermaier's been with the ball club for a while. Everybody knows what a great outfielder he is, and he's got great speed. There's a bunt up the third base line past Stroman. Valencia doesn't have a play. So now you got runners at the corners, and they're two fastest base runners. Jennings with a bunt single. That leadoff walk to Myers comes in to score. This is a beautiful bunt. Gets it past the pitcher. Valencia knows he doesn't have a play.
Well, what an outstanding job by Jennings, too. He got a pitch out over the plate. That's the first thing. If you're going to bunt for a base hit, you've got to get a good pitch. He got the pitch, but he created the perfect bat angle to drop that down. And on the artificial turf, he knows if he gets it past the pitcher right there, it's a base hit. Valencia picks it up, but he can't do anything with it.
Well, now you really got to be on your toes on defense. You got good speed at third with Kiermaier, great speed at first in Jennings. He's got 15 steals, and a very patient hitter at the plate in Ben Zobrist.
And Deandre Navarro will put some signs on. He'll get the sign from the dugout for the first and third defense of the double steal. In this situation, you may see him just come and pump fake, not throw the ball to second if Jennings goes.
2-0.
And the other element that speed adds is now you've got a pitcher on the mound in Stroman that's thinking about the speed on the corners right now and maybe losing a little focus on home plate, falling behind the hitter.
Off the end of the bat, Reyes will have to go to first. That ends the inning, but Tampa Bay manufactures a run. They've taken a 2-0 lead. Big part of the order coming up: Melky Cabrera, then Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, 2, 3, and 4 for the Blue Jays. Their order to get back into this ball game quickly. Melky Cabrera will lead things off, then Jose Bautista. When you look at the outfield OPS in the American League, Bautista and Melky Cabrera 1 and 3 respectively, and this is a pretty impressive category because this means the guys are getting on base and doing a lot of damage with each at bat.
Well, and these are two of your probably most consistent offensive performers for this team right since the beginning of the season. They have been in the thick of everything that they've done offensively. And these are two guys, if you get guys on in front of them, the Blue Jays will score runs.
Melky hit into a 4-6 double play his first time up. Breaking ball for a strike.
They're such good hitters, too. They're not just that. I talk about their vision. Pitch recognition, I think, is so important when it comes to that, identifying the pitch as it's coming in.
Tell you one thing, Drew Smiley is keeping the pressure on him. He's been ahead all night.
He's been ahead all night. He's using all of his pitches. And again, I think when you locate the baseball to both sides of the plate and change speeds, that's just pitching 101. And he is executing his game plan with Casale back there perfectly tonight.
It wasn't quite as close as Melky Cabrera thought, but you can't blame him for bailing out anytime it's up around your coconut.
And the fans may not like this, but this is an absolutely tremendous pitch by Drew Smyly. If you're facing somebody like Melky Cabrera, you've got to pitch inside. If you're facing good hitters, you have got to pitch inside.
That miss, now it's a 2-2 count.
Making good hitters conscious of the fastball in by, and I'm not saying throwing at somebody's head, but pitching inside off the plate. Now it opens up the other half as well.
Pops back over the screen. Tampa Bay is a tough road team. They are 33-29 on the road, 29-36 at home. And Joe Madden has seen his team put together some stretch of pitching on the road. 18 straight road games. In those 18 straight road games, they have allowed 3 runs or less. With that, they've gone 14-4 in those 18 games. Bouncing ball, Escobar. Loney. 1 down.
Save during the homeowner sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
First of 9 home games on this homestand. Tampa Bay for 3, Boston for 3, and the New York Yankees for 3. That'll wrap up the month of August. Smyly. Well, he looks like he's in a rocking chair right now, doesn't he?
Boy, when everything's working and your delivery feels about as perfect as it can get, you feel like you can throw any pitch for a strike at any time.
Another changeup.
I think it's Casale that's in the rocking chair right now. He is just sitting back and putting the fingers down.
Upstairs.
You can see the pitch sequence that Casale is calling right now. The first 2 pitches elevates the fastball right there. Now he's probably going to come back down in the zone.
Backdoor breaking ball. Bautista. 2 ground ball outs. A couple of young fans out in the outfield. It was Bautista. They've got a couple of different signs and flip cards for the appropriate matter. Mr. Laurie's not here. Mr. Laurie's not here. Mr. Rasmus is not batting. Let's find Mr. Encarnacion. There he is. Okay, Carly, you win. My name is Carly. Please hit me a ball. That's awesome. Edwin can do that. He's got 27 homers this season. How do you assess Edwin's stroke since he's come off the DL?
Well, I think he's coming along. It's going to take time when you come off the disabled list, and it looked early on like he was just missing pitches, and I know John Gibbons talked about that, but to me, when you're just missing pitches, it's usually because your timing's not quite right. So he's getting better and better. He hits the ball hard, chasing that one.
Boy, that's a wicked curveball. That's the 2nd strikeout. Blue Jays go down in order in the 4th. We'll go to the 5th. 2-0 Tampa Bay. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in a TD comfort zone, our guests enjoying a seat upgrade, courtesy of TD. Hope you're having a good night. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from the Children's Aid Foundation. Welcome to the ballpark. A beautiful Friday night. Now you just need the Blue Jays to score a couple of runs to tie things up. That is the CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. And you can see the fog has rolled in from Lake Ontario. It's kind of an interesting shot. Matt Joyce has struck out and walked in his 2 at-bats. It's interesting how teams can develop a trade relationship. Matt Joyce came from the Tigers. Drew Smyly is from the Tigers, and Kurt Casale is from the Tigers, all in separate deals. But once you have success trading with a particular team, you have a tendency to go back and knock on their door again. There's a drive to right. Bautista is back. He's not going to get it. It's off his glove. Joyce is around first. He'll go to second base. Bautista looked like he got a glove on it and almost made an outstanding catch. That ball was over his shoulder, and he was astride onto the warning track when it hit just off the tip of his glove.
Joyce got a good piece of this ball. Jose gets a good jump. Again, the pitch is up and out over the plate. He gets a good jump. It looks like he may have been there. It looks like he did get a piece of his glove. Good effort going straight back. He's going to be disappointed he didn't catch this ball, even though he had a long ways to go and crashing into the wall after.
Just tipped off the thumb of his glove for a double for Joyce. Evan Longoria is 2 for 2. He homered in the second and singled with 2 outs in the third.
Had a really frustrated outfielder to go through all that. He got a good jump, a good route on that ball, and gets all the way to it and just has it go off the edge of his finger of his glove.
Trying to go down and away. Interesting where Tollefson is positioned now. He's asking the umpire if he can move a little bit. The umpire was in his way, Bill Wilkie, at second, and he is positioned more straight away at second than he was last time up for Longoria.
Interesting. First couple pitches away right there, thinking Longoria may want to try to shoot something that way, but maybe trying to get him out front, and maybe that he's thinking inside that he'll come around it, but that's really just helping him move that runner along.
Four-pitch walk to Longoria has been on base 3 times so far tonight. Third walk issued by Stroman. James Loney will step in the box.
Not sure Deano Navarro wanted any part of Longoria right there. Just stayed away with the open base. Figured we'll put him on and put the double play in order with Loney.
Well, Loney can handle a bat. He put the ball in play. He got a big hole to shoot for on the right side. Pulled something on the ground. Tampa Bay got off to a terrible start, and they were 18 games under 500 earlier in the season. They were 24-42 through June 10th. They got back to 500. They have since slipped 3 games under 500. And then they traded away David Price, and they've gotten a little bit better. They have really pitched well since the Price move, and in fact they beat David Price in a very unusual game yesterday, 1-0.
How about that one?
Ground ball. Valencia at third, bobbled it. Tollefson has time, can't dig it out, and now the run's going to come in to score. Joyce comes in from third base when the ball got away from Encarnacion. The bobble at third base started that chain reaction that disrupted the timing at second. Danny Valencia had a little double clutch at third, and that threw off Tollefson, and he threw the ball in the dirt.
Well, what the double clutch by Valencia does is it slows the play down. It allows the runner, Longoria, to get closer to second base. And that little double clutch, as a second baseman, you're saying, get me that ball and get me it as quickly as possible. Watch Valencia here. He fields it cleanly, just can't transfer that ball to his throwing hand. But that delay allows Longoria to get close. Well, he's all over Tolleson. And by wiping out Tolleson, he forces the bad throw to first base, and Edwin cannot come up with it. Good, hard baseball by Evan Longoria.
That's what you get day in and day out from Longoria. And Joe Madden insists upon that. Doesn't have many rules other than play hard.
That is playing hard right there. That's a good hard baseball slide, and it caused a bad throw. Run score, safe at first.
Will Myers walked and scored his last time on.
See that hard slide Edwin just cannot come up with, and that's when the ball hits the artificial turf, and that's where it can play a little. It's a tough short hop there, but as a first baseman you want that glove to go towards the baseball. You don't want to sit back and try to catch that hop almost like you're fielding a ground ball. You want to go forward and scoop towards the baseball. See Edwin backing off a little bit. It's a tough pick either way with that artificial turf.
The ruling on the play, it's a fielder's choice, and the runner Evan Longoria is out 5-4, and then Tolleson commits the error that allows Joyce to score from third. Tampa Bay now leads at 3-0. One and two. This is the first start for Marcus Stroman against Tampa Bay.
Well, and what he needs to do is keep his team in the ball game here. It's damage control now. He's down 3 already here in the 5th, but if he can keep it there, he knows that this lineup can come back if they can somehow get to Smiley.
Bouncing ball outside of third. That's a foul ball.
And at this point, it doesn't seem likely the way we're seeing Drew Smiley throw the ball, but there's still a lot of baseball to be played.
Well, we mentioned the Rays are on that great run. 18 straight road games. Their pitchers have allowed 3 runs or less, and they have scored 3 runs tonight.
And that's just the one thing they've had trouble doing is scoring runs. When they've pitched, that's a team that's always pitched, but they just have not been swinging the bats.
Myers is called out for a second time tonight. This time it's an outside fastball.
It's the two-seam fastball from Stroman. He throws it away, starts it off the plate away, tries to get that ball to come back and catch the outside corner. I don't think Will Myers thought it caught the outside corner, but that's not important. Bob Davidson said it did.
2 down. Guillermo Escobar has a single. He's also struck out. Stroman now has 6 strikeouts. We're in the top of the 5th. Tampa Bay has 3 runs on 7 hits, and they've stranded 6 base runners. Baltimore lost to the Cubs 4-1 today in Chicago in an afternoon game. Jake Arrieta beat Kevin Gausman in that game. Escobar with a big cut.
Good movement on that fastball by Stroman. You can see that ball sinking down. Escobar swinging right over the baseball. When you can do that at 95 miles per hour, that is a very damaging fastball.
That has been a good area in the strike zone for Stroman tonight, that first base side of home plate.
If you can hammer your glove side, which is away to the right-hand batter for the right-handed throwing Stroman, it's the best pitch in baseball, especially if you can command that. Now it's those secondary pitches that he needs to go along with it.
Fly ball to right. Bautista hustling back. He gets there and ends the inning. Tampa Bay adds a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays are down by 3. Valencia will start things off. came to the Rays from Detroit. And the Rays have a history of having to trade some of their prime pitchers. Matt Garza back in 2011 with the Cubs. That brought them Chris Archer and Brandon Guyer. James Shields was about to be a free agent when they traded him to Kansas City, along with Wade Davis, and they get Will Myers and Jake Odorizzi. Odorizzi is now in the starting rotation, and David Price, who's going to be a free agent after next year, and he nets them Drew Smyly. So Chris Archer came in that trade with the Cubs for Matt Garza, and they complement their homegrown talent with key trades, and they've done a nice job.
And you've got to give up something to get something, but the key is what you're getting in return, and they've gotten some fine young players.
When they traded James Shields to Kansas City, Andrew Freeman told his scouts, I want the best minor league player available. I don't care where it is. And Kansas City had Will Myers at that time, and that's how they ended up with him. Danny Valencia drives it deep to right. Kiermaier can really go get him. He takes extra bases away from Danny Valencia. Well, what an asset to have that kind of speed in the outfield. And they've got Jennings in center and Kiermaier in right.
Well, it's great to have speed in the outfield. And Danny Valencia is a result of a good swing here. We talked about what he's trying to do is go up the middle the other way better. But when you got those guys tracking down a lot of real estate out there, they're going to flag them down. Very difficult to beat these outfielders with the Rays.
Kiermaier's 24 years old. He came up last year, appeared in one game, and then got appearance in the postseason. That's how much they trust his defense. Played in a wild card game on defense against Cleveland. Joe Madden puts a lot of stock in defense. Goes along with your pitching. There's a high pop on the left side. Longoria falls for it. Escobar makes the catch. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bobby Ray starting for the Tigers. Kinsler's 12th home run of the season. Of course, the Tigers lost 1-0. David Price gave up his only 2 base runners in the first, and it was a 1-0 game. Colby Erasmus pulls it right into the shift. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 6th. Tampa Bay with a 3-0 lead, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Poster giveaway day is presented by Boston Pizza. It'll take place Saturday, August 30th when the Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees. Game time is 1:07 p.m. All children 14 and under receive a Junior Jays poster. Call the Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Or log online at BlueJays.com and get your tickets for the Junior Jays poster giveaway, presented by Boston Pizza. Lots of Junior Jays in the house tonight. The young lady, she's anxious for a couple of runs here as the Tampa Bay Rays have a 3-0 lead. Curt Casali goes after that first pitch. He's got a single and he has struck out. Brian Hannigan, the everyday catcher, is on a rehab. He's going to start that tonight down in the Florida State League at Charlotte, coming off an oblique strain. He's dealt with a couple of injuries this year that have really kept him from being the kind of impact player they had hoped he would be. Vanderbilt, of course, David Price is a graduate. He didn't play with Casali, but Sonny Gray did. Mike Minor of the Braves also went to Vanderbilt. They've done a terrific job over the years developing good pitching. And with that, chances are you're going to have a pretty good catcher, and that's where Casali comes in.
He is leading them away, and that's what a good catcher will do. It's nice to have a good pitching staff, but look at the job he's doing with Drew Smyly tonight. Smyly has to throw the baseball, but when you're calling that game back there, that pitcher trusts what you're doing, trust your game calling. Just let the pitcher go to work. Marcus Stroman pitches from the first base side of the rubber, and pitchers will pick us different spots. Some will be from the third base side, some of them first. When I asked Marcus about this, he said no real reason. He just likes to pitch from that side. It's where he's more comfortable. Most right-handed pitchers, he said, if they pick a side, it's usually the third base side, so there's a little more ground to cover.
That's a fair ball just inside the line. Bautista plays it perfectly, and that'll keep Casali at first base. His second hit. Good play by Bautista. Boy, he got over there quickly and played it perfectly. Casali is 2 for 3.
Nice job by Jose here, picking this ball up right off the wall. Good bank shot right there, but he played the angle perfectly. And he always loves to come firing that ball in, trying to hold Casali to a single, but he knew far better than to test Jose.
Kevin Kiermaier, an RBI double his last time up. That was in the 4th inning. Not showing bunt, takes it inside. You mentioned the ground ball double. We saw straight away to center, right at the center field. And he was thinking double the moment he bounced it over the mound. I played with 2 guys in Kansas City. That was routine. George Brett and Hal McRae. Same type of field, the artificial surface in Kansas City. They hit a ground ball through the middle. The 2 infielders would converge behind second. The ball would get out to center, and they were sliding into second.
And I'll bet they'll take advantage of outfielders that they know go after the ball casually and take their time. It's usually a single 99.9% of the time.
Ball and a strike. Well, another thing you have to think about, and we did that in Kansas City, was the outfielders have to play deep because those sharply hit balls will go through the gaps and it'll be an extra base hit. Aaron Loop starting to loosen up.
That could be something into Kiermaier's game plan as well. Colby Rasmus certainly plays a deep center field here at Rogers Center.
Two balls and 2 strikes to the number 9 hitter.
See if Marcus used that 2-seam fastball right here, down and away, trying to get the ground ball. Even though it's a speedy Kiermaier, still want to get him to hit that ball on the ground.
Pops this one out of play. We're in the 6th. Marcus Stroman got off to a good start. Retired the side in order in the 1st, and then Evan Longoria hit a leadoff home run in the 2nd. Tampa Bay added single runs in the 4th and 5th. Base hit through the right side. Casale will stop at second. Blue Jays went 2-6 on the road trip, and the starters on the trip had an 8.17 earned run average. The opponents hit .335 against them, and they just got cuffed around pretty dramatically on that road trip, including Marcus Stroman's short outing in Chicago at Drew Hutchison as well.
Well, it's just not going to cut it. You are just not going to win baseball games if your starting pitcher does not give you a chance. And you talk about quality starts. And I think it's a very important stat, even though that number has changed over the years. It used to be 7 innings that you had to go for a quality start. Now they say it's 6, but your starting pitchers are the ones that lead the way, and they had a couple of rough ones on that road trip for sure.
Well, it's all about your starting pitching, putting up a couple of zeros, give your hitters an opportunity to score some runs. The Blue Jays, when they fall behind, they have really had their problems. 19-36 when their opponents score first. Desmond Jennings, the leadoff man, had a bunt single in the 4th.
And John Gibbons has even said so much that they don't have a shutdown type guy at the front of their rotation, so they need to score runs. So when the offense goes a little quiet, this team can be in big trouble.
The 2 home runs they hit on Wednesday in Milwaukee, that was the first game all month they have hit multi-home runs in a game. The home runs have dried up. With that, the runs have dried up as well. Bounce foul. Stroman still got good movement on his fastball.
And you can say that they've faced good pitching along the way, and of course they faced great pitching in Seattle, and of course Miley's good here tonight, but they face the Tigers. But at some point you have to beat good pitching. That's what good teams do. Winning teams end up beating good pitching at some time, and you have to do it. And the Blue Jays have just not been able to combine some kind of pitching with their offense.
2 balls and a strike, nobody out. There's a base hit into center field. Casale is around third. He's going to score. Kiermaier breezes first to third. Jennings has his second hit. And it's 4-0 Tampa Bay. John Gibbons out of the dugout. There's the call to the bullpen. 3 straight hits off of Stroman here in the 6th inning. Tampa Bay has scored another run. 4 runs on 10 hits so far for Tampa Bay. Little smile from Joe Madden. He hasn't seen the offense score runs like this in a while. Aaron Loop into the ball game to face Ben Zobrist when we come back. Baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Marcus Stroman just really never had his great breaking ball tonight, and he turns things over to Aaron Loup, making his 59th appearance, and Zobrist chops it outside of the foul line at third. And Zobrist, the switch hitter. Loup has been very consistent for the Blue Jays. You think about the ability to come in and pitch to righties or lefties, it doesn't make any difference to Loup. He's equally effective.
Aaron Loup with that 3/4 delivery. He throws across his body. Really tough on left-handed hitters, but he's certainly done his damage against righties as well. Very effective for him when he's able to throw that fastball into right-handers, and it seems like an oddity, but right-handers just have a difficult time picking the ball up, even though it's coming from the far outside.
Righties have hit .232 against Loup. Toss to third. For 4-0 Tampa Bay, threatening to build upon that lead. Well, that's that patented Tampa Bay safety squeeze. Runners at first and third, they generally pull it off without a flaw. What they try to do is bunt it toward the second baseman. Once it's on the ground safely, the runners will break. But it is not a safety. It is not a suicide squeeze by any means.
Good pitch by Loup, getting that fastball really in on the hands. Zobrist
comes in again. The safety squeeze is one where the runner at third doesn't commit on the pitch. He will wait until the ball is safely on the ground. Suicide squeeze is the runner from third will break when the pitcher breaks toward home. When he throws the ball to the plate, the runner will take off, and it's imperative that the batter put the ball in play.
And it's literally a safety squeeze. What you're doing is making sure you don't run into it out in case the batter does not get the ball down.
Ground ball, base hit. Kiermaier comes in to score. Zobrist, his first hit off of Aaron Loup. He was 0 for 7 before that bouncing base hit through the right side.
You talked earlier, Buck, about the value of a Ben Zobrist, but he's just a professional hitter. Look at him shoot this hole over there. Runner being held at first base, just stays inside of this baseball with his hands, lets the ball get deep in his stance, shooting that open hole on the right side.
Zobrist picks up his 40th RBI. It's now a 5-0 lead for Tampa Bay. Still nobody out. Bouncing ball. Collison has to wait back, and they don't get him at second. Zobrist hustling on the play. That extra bounce took Collison a step further away from second, and his throw wasn't in time at second base. Bill Welke, the second base umpire, signaling safe.
There's not much Steve Tallis can do here. It's a chopper. He was not going to come and get this hop, I don't think. He figured his best shot was to flip it to Jose at second base, but Zobrist just beat the throw. The only other option for a second baseman on that is to immediately come and get that baseball, but with the hop that he was going to get, I'm not sure he'd have gotten there anyway. Tough play on the artificial turf.
So the bases are loaded for Evan Longoria. Longoria's had a perfect night at the plate. Home run, single, and a walk. Three career grand slams for the Rays third baseman. Goes after that pitch off the plate outside. This is a familiar trend from the Blue Jays as you see Drabek starting to loosen up in the bullpen. The Blue Jays have lost their last 5 series openers, and they trail 5-0. Longoria keeps it fair down the left side. 1 run is in. Here comes the 2nd run, and they're going to hold Joyce at 3rd as Longoria drives in a pair with a double down the left field line. 7-0. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Seven-0 Tampa Bay. Longoria with a big night, his 3rd hit of the night. He's been on base 4 times. Still nobody out. James Loney with the infield halfway. Loney is 0 for 5 against Aaron Loup. Zobrist was 0 for 7 before he got his first hit.
Well, and Loup fell behind 2-0 to a good hitter in Longoria. Got to 2-1, but again, fastball hitters count.
Bouncing ball. Hollison backhands it and throws to first. Loney is out. First out of the inning. Four runs here in the 6th for Tampa Bay. Myers is the 8th rate of bat this inning.
We talked about the importance for Marcus Stroman to keep this game close, keep his team in the game somehow if they can get to Smiley. But this is what happens when you give up the big inning and it really extends the lead. Makes a comeback very difficult now for the Jays. Just tough leaving some baseballs up in the zone to start this 6th inning. A few hard hit balls. And that was the trouble he had in Chicago. Again, flat up in the zone. It's a bad combination. Good big league hitters are going to get to those.
0-2. Two, 1 out. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Will Myers has struck out twice and walked. He missed 70 games with a fractured right wrist. Was activated on Wednesday. Matt Joyce at 3rd. Reached on a fielder's choice. Longoria at 2nd with a double.
I think in the case of Will Myers, you're seeing a pretty good hitter here, but it's going to take some time to get your timing back. And especially here, we talked about a major league pitching is just so different than when guys rehab in the minor leagues. See how late he is on that fastball, and that's not because he's trying to shoot something the other way. He was just really tardy on that.
Interesting, they would throw him a breaking ball after he was so late on the fastball.
Took the words right out of my mouth. When a hitter's that late on the fastball, the logical next pitch call would be a fastball inside. We talked about how effective Luke can be when he gets that ball glove side in on a righty. To me, that's the pitch.
Myers is 0 for 8 since coming off the DL. For 8 with 6 strikeouts. That proves the fact that the rust has accumulated.
Absolutely. The timing's just not there, and you need to see a lot of pitching before you get that timing back. You never know when the right time is to finish a rehab assignment, but when you get back to the big leagues, it's still going to take time.
Upstairs, now a full count. Escobar is on deck. Inside, looked like a pretty good pitch. Base on ball to Will Myers. He's walked twice. So the line on Marcus Stroman is complete. He goes 5 innings plus 3 batters. Gives up 10 hits, 5 earned runs. He walked 3 and struck out 6 and threw 102 pitches. He's on the hook for the loss.
Just didn't see his secondary stuff tonight like we've seen him when he is at his best. He's got that breaking ball going sharp with late break. Saw the cutter happening a little bit tonight, which was good, and the fastball command was good at times, but you don't have that breaking ball to go with it. It's tough to sequence pitches enough to fool these hitters.
Escobar late on that first pitch. Tampa Bay has scored 7 runs on 12 hits. This is a team that was averaging 3.9 runs per game. 13th in the American League.
Drew Smyly certainly enjoying this run support this evening. He is in cruise control right now, really keeping these Blue Jays hitters off balance tonight.
One pitch on the ground. Tollison, Reyes at second, back to first in time. Good turn up the middle. Tollison and Reyes made a good pivot at second. That ends the inning, but Tampa Bay scores 4 to take a 7-0 lead. But you look at the AL wild card race. Oakland has fallen out of first place. They now trail Los Angeles by 2, but they've got a 5.5 game lead for that first wild card spot. The Tigers have the second spot by the thinnest of margins, just a half a game over Seattle. Yankees and Blue Jays are 4 back. But it's really interesting this time of the year when you think, okay, well, we can beat the Rays. They're not playing very good. And then Tampa Bay comes out and puts up a 7th spot on you through 6 innings.
Well, and Tampa's an interesting team because they're not up there necessarily in the standings. They've been coming back lately, but with the pitching they have, you know it's never going to be easy. Blue Jays coming in, facing a Drew Smyly tonight. He's had 2 very good outings back-to-back with his new team, and sure enough, he's putting together another one tonight. Marcus Stroman clearly not having his A game. Bad combination.
Tampa Bay has always been about starting pitching. And once again, they have a nice rotation. This is the second youngest rotation in the American League behind the Cleveland Indians. Nolan Raimo goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Drew Smyly has thrown 14 balls tonight. He has pounded the strike zone, and now he's got a 7-run cushion. Chris Archer, another one of the young starters in this rotation, he'll pitch the finale on Sunday afternoon. Jeremy Hellickson will pitch tomorrow. It'll be Burley tomorrow against Hellickson, and then Hutchison against Archer in the series finale on Sunday afternoon. One and two to Nolan Raimo. Smyly came out of University of Arkansas. He was a roommate with a pretty good pitcher in Arkansas. Dallas Keuchel was his roommate at Arkansas. Detroit took Smyly in the second round of the 2010 draft. Well, that's a good changeup. A lot of late movement on it, down and away. Another strikeout.
Save during the homeowner sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Eight straight retired by Smyly now. Steve Tollefson had a single his first time up. That's the last Blue Jay to reach base.
Smiley's throwing that cutter to both sides of the plate as well. Very difficult on right-hand batters. He'll throw it backdoor to right-handers, which is on the outside corner, almost like a fastball away, except it's got that little cut. And his cutter will actually have some downward movement as well. It looks like a little slider.
Ball buried in the dirt. The Blue Jays have had two men reach base. Reyes, a leadoff single. That was erased by the double play, and then Thomason a two-out single in the third. That's been it.
Been talking to Jim Hickey today about Drew Smyly and his pitch selection. He even said that he's got the slider and the cutter. They're two different pitches, but really they're almost one and the same. He'll say sometimes they'll have a little more depth. When he tries to backdoor the right-handed batters, that's what he'll do. The strikeout pitch you'll see with a little more depth. That's what he'll use to try to get a swing and miss.
There's a fly ball down the right side, but that's going to be into the seats.
It's a perfect example of a pitcher using his head out on the mound and manipulating the baseball, whatever feels good. Sometimes he thinks cutter and it's coming out of his hand, and it may get a little more depth, so it might be the strikeout type pitch where he'll try to get it to go down a little more. Earlier in the count when he's trying to throw it for a strike away to a righty, he'll just cut that ball just so it stays on the same plane. Not as much movement, but it's more for a strike.
Foul back. They got Drew Smyly in that three-team trade. David Price went from Tampa Bay to Detroit. Austin Jackson went from Detroit to Seattle. But not only did they get Smyly, they got an interesting shortstop in Nick Franklin. Franklin's a switch hitter. He's 23 years old, a former first-round pick of the Mariners. There's a ball hit to center field, but Desmond Jennings has it measured. 2 down. So Franklin comes over. He is in Durham. He's played 17 games in AAA with Tampa Bay. He's hit just .213. But in 2013, playing with the Mariners, he hit 12 home runs and drove in 45 runs as a switch-hitting shortstop at 22 years old.
Well, the Tampa Rays certainly going after some key people, and Drew Smyly and Nick Franklin are two key parts. And then there's a third piece, a little shortstop they got from the Tigers as well, the youngster.
Willie Adames is also a young shortstop. He came directly from the Tigers. That ball is grounded to short. Escobar quickly scooped over at first by Loney. 10 straight retired by Drew Smyly. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody get hurt by a pitch. Felix Hernandez and Joe Kelly hooked up in a pitcher's duel. Kelly has allowed just one hit. He is now out of the game as Greg Breslow has just come in. Felix Hernandez, 3 hits over 5 innings. He hasn't walked a batter and struck out 7. Kyle Drabek makes his second appearance since being called up from AAA Buffalo. Made 13 starts in Buffalo. Then he moved into the bullpen. He had a good outing in Milwaukee his first time out. That was on Tuesday night. Worked 2 innings, gave up a hit and struck out 3. Escobar continuing the David Price tradition of eating popcorn in the middle of the game, except when Price was eating the popcorn, he wasn't playing.
Whatever works.
Kurt Casale has had some game for a guy that has the reputation not being able to swing the bat very well. He's 2 for 3. He's scored a run. Tell you what, he's taken more pride out of what he has gotten from his pitcher. Drew Smiley has held the Blue Jays to no runs on 2 hits. This is popped up and playable. Danny Valencia into foul territory. Gets there. 1 down. Now it's time for play of the game. It's brought to you by the Sleeman Speakeasy. Only the notorious get in. Enter for your chance at SleemanSpeakeasy.ca.
Kevin Kiermaier used his speed and aggressive nature. Just a base hit up the middle. Looks very innocent until he goes around first base thinking 2 all the way and just takes advantage of a lackadaisical effort by Colby Rasmus diving into second base. Now ball up the middle. He turns it into a double.
Colby played back. He's deep, and then he just kind of went after it in a jog, anticipating that Kiermaier was going to settle for a single. That wasn't the case at all. Kiermaier, interesting. He's got 11 doubles, 6 triples, and 9 home runs. Pretty interesting combination for a guy that runs well. .26 extra base hits in 79 games. He is 2 for 3. He has an RBI and he scored a run. Tried to check and went around.
Drabek has 5 pitches. His fastball, curveball, slider, but then cutter and changeup. Now, once he's transitioned to the bullpen now, he doesn't necessarily get to all 5 of those pitches, but it's been a bit of a difficult transition. He said, I was always a starter, so it was very different when he was first told he was going to the bullpen, but he's making that transition, and he's glad to be in Toronto.
One thing we've seen in that outing and here in Toronto tonight is good sink on his fastball.
Good movement. He'll throw that 2-seam fastball. He'll be around 90, 91.
That's late movement. Right at the knees, and then the ball breaks down and away.
That's a lot of movement, too. You see the catch by Navarro really taking his glove off to his left. You can be around 91 with that kind of movement. You can start that ball right down the middle of the plate and just let that action take care of itself.
Held on to by Navarro. Nope. Foul ball. They say it hit the ground. Navarro tried to sell it to Bob Davidson, but he wouldn't buy it.
Got to like the effort by DeHonor. You got to try to trick the umpire. He's going to pick this foul tip out of the dirt. Nice little pick there, but just come up, throw it. I got it. Throw it around. Unfortunately, Bob Davidson's been around the game a long time.
Foul out of play.
See all the pitches from Drabek really down and away. You can keep the ball down in the zone. You're going to get a lot of ground balls with the movement he's got on that fastball. Good downward movement, and as you said, it's late. So as a hitter, that looks like that fastball's right there. You go to swing and you hit the top of the baseball.
Looper into shallow center. Reyes back, can't make the play. Kiermaier's headed for second. The throw not in time. His second double of the night. Neither one of them hit very hard.
Well, this is certainly a double right out of the batter's box from Kiermaier, if it lands at all. It was just a little blooper. Most people would get a single on it, but you know with his hustle, we've already seen it once tonight. Jose Reyes has a good route on the ball. Looks like he had a beat on it, but then has actually overran the ball a little bit towards center field. As a left-handed batter, that ball is going to slice towards left field. Jose's route out towards it, but Kiermaier gets the second easily.
It's a 5th 3-hit game for Kiermaier this season. He's had 1 4-hit game. Back to the top of the order, Desmond Jennings. Jennings has a pair of hits. Tampa Bay now with 13 hits.
Gianna Navarro catching this pitch from Drabek. That's a pretty good pitch, but when you turn your glove over like that and take it to the ground, you're not going to get that call. You've got to keep that glove up, catch that ball out front, give the umpire a good look. That's a strike. Sometimes as a catcher, if you're catching a pitcher that you're a little unfamiliar with, he hasn't seen a lot of Kyle Drabek this year, especially with that breaking ball right there. You might not quite know the rotation. It backed up on him a little bit, but you want to catch that ball out front and give that umpire a good look. Bottom of the strike zone.
3-0 to Jennings.
Such a key pitch in that bat too. That first pitch, falling behind 1-0 instead of being 0-1, you can do a lot more things.
Ben Zobrist is on deck. The Blue Jays this season have a 6-4 advantage over Tampa Bay in their season series. Last year, the Rays won the series 11-8. Joe Maddon's team has really been a problem for the Blue Jays over the last several seasons. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4. Now Drabek walks Jennings. 2 on, 1 out. MLB.com at Bat is the official app of Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Ben Zobrist 1 for 3 so far. He bounced the ball through the right side of the infield his last time up. And drove home Kevin Kiermaier from third base. Tampa Bay is interesting offensively. We mentioned the fact they don't score many runs. They're 13th in the American League in runs per 9 innings. But they're 4th in the American League in walks. And they will make the most out of their base hits because they take so many walks. They have 5 walks tonight. Evan Longoria's had a perfect night. 3 hits and a walk. He's driven in 3 with a homer and an RBI double.
They draw walks and get on base. I think the one thing missing from that Tampa offense is the slugging potential, is to hit the ball out of the park and drive them in. And again, with the pitching that they have, if they had a little bit of that to go in their offense, they would really be a well-rounded team.
Once again, you have to factor in they missed Will Myers for 70 games, and that was a big void in the middle of their lineup. That sinker missed low. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's where, as a pitcher now, Kyle's going to have to make the adjustment, and you don't want to ever elevate the ball in the zone. You always want to work down. That's a good miss right there. But if it's going to be a ball and Zobrist is going to lay off, you've got to make an adjustment. Maybe aim a little higher right around those knees and try to get the swing.
Drabek for the season in AAA went 7-7. He appeared in 29 games. 13 of those appearances came as a starter. In his last 10 appearances down in Buffalo, he didn't walk a batter, working out of the bullpen exclusively. Popped up over near the seats. Valencia, the third baseman, over, but it's a couple of rows deep out of play.
I had asked Drabek about transitioning to the bullpen and how tough it was to get used to, and he said the biggest thing was just the change of routine. When you're a starting pitcher, you're scheduled every 5th day, and those 4 days in between, you've got a routine, got your long toss, or when you run and do all these things. So it was a little different, and he got down to that bullpen. He said when that phone rang, the adrenaline just got rushing. Very different for him.
There's a strikeout, a good sinking fastball. Drabek records his first strikeout.
Good two-seam action from Drabek. You see those fingers along the two seams of the baseball. You're going to get action down and away. Now, not every pitcher gets that, but that's a good two-seam fastball right there. If you can be around 90-91 with that movement, you can be very successful.
2 down. Kiermaier at second. Desmond Jennings at first. The left fielder, Matt Joyce. Two and out.
See that first pitch again. It's a two-seam fastball from Drabek, just at the bottom of the zone, but just not getting that call and not bringing that ball and keeping it tight and giving that home plate umpire a good look. You're not always going to get those borderline calls, but as a receiver, you want to give that umpire a good look.
Now 3-0. Just got to change your sights just a little bit higher and account for that movement. Longoria with the perfect night is on deck.
A lot of times a pitcher will do just that and just change the visual. Set your sights a little higher. If you're looking at his chest protector, maybe you want to aim at the catcher's chin now with that two-seamer. Keep it in the zone.
A 4-pitch walk, second walk of the inning. That'll bring Longoria to the plate. It's time for the drive of the game. It's brought to you by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. Experience the thrill at your local Acura dealer.
Well, Evan Longoria is a hitter that may look for a pitch in certain situations, and he jumped all over this fastball on the inner half of the plate. Stroman missed his spot, but this is a veteran hitter. No Stroman's coming off of an outing where he didn't make it out of the first inning. Looking to get ahead with fastballs, and Evan looked right inside and he got what he was looking for. A good hitter like that's not going to miss.
So the bases are loaded. Longoria homered in the second, singled in the third, walked in the fifth, and had a 2-run double in the sixth. Slider bounces in the dirt. Tampa Bay, as you look at Todd Redmond loosening up, Tampa Bay has a 65-36 record against the Jays since 2009. They have owned the season series. The 65 wins, the second most wins by any team against an opponent over that span. Texas has 67 wins over the Mariners since 2009. Two and one to Longoria. Fouls it off the catcher. Two balls and two strikes. The bases are loaded. Kiermaier's at third, Jennings at second, Matt Joyce is at first. Longoria hits it well foul. James Loney, the first baseman, is on deck. Strike three call. Longoria called out on strikes. Tampa Bay leaves the bases loaded. We'll go to the bottom of the seventh. The Rays have a 7-0 lead. Blue Jays. Follow Shai Davidi with in-depth analysis and expert opinion. Shai Davidi, MLB Insider only on Sportsnet.ca. Shai Davidi has been working hard on a lot of different stories. And Joe, you had a chance to talk with Shai about the shift today. It was kind of an interesting approach. He thought about how much of an impact the shifts have had on the offenses this season. I'm sure he's going to write a story about that and how that impacts the hitters.
Well, it's been difficult. It's more difficult to hit now with all the shifts in baseball. If you're a hitter that hits a ball a high percentage of the time to one side of the field and they load up that side defensively, and we've seen it. He used Colby Rasmus as an example. Hits a lot of balls to the right side. He's pretty well a dead pull hitter, so they load up that side, and Colby has had decreased batting average because of the defense loading up the right side of the field on him.
Melky Cabrera has gone 0 for 2 so far. The Blue Jays have 2 hits. Jose Reyes got a hit in the first at bat for the Blue Jays tonight, and Steve Tollefson had a 2-out single in the third. That's been it. 2-1.
There comes a point in time as a hitter too, you've got to adjust to what the defense is doing to you, and I think that's what Colby, as an example, is going to have to try to stay inside, use the middle of the field a little bit more.
So pop up, shortstop Escobar. 1 out. The Blue Jays coming into this game 17-16 against left-handed starters, but they haven't put up much of a fight against Drew Smyly tonight.
No, 2 of their key acquisitions were Nolan Reimold and Danny Valencia to address that need. They had struggles against left-handed pitching. Valencia and Reimold came in to add some right-handed bats, but not too much tonight against Drew Smyly. He's been outstanding. I think the cutter has been the key pitch for Smyly tonight. He has really changed speeds. He's gone in the mid-70s with that breaking ball, all the way up to about 92 with the fastball, but that's that cutter location.
Tampa Bay really been on a run as far as their pitching goes. They won a 1-0 game against Detroit yesterday. That was their 16th shutout of the season, the most in the American League, and it's one shy of their club record. Last year they had 17 shutouts. Alex Cobb was the author of that shutout. And Jake Odorizzi kicking back here at Rogers Center. But they've also been shut out 15 times as an offense. 31 games this season they've participated in a shutout. Bautista hits it off the end of the bat. Matt Joyce comes in and makes the play. 2 down. Well, you look back at Tampa Bay, and they've been very stable in their starting pitching. We talk about Price. He was traded to Detroit. Matt Garza traded to the Cubs. Shields to Kansas City. Jeff Neiman's dealt with injuries, and Wade Davis is now a very good setup man in Kansas City. You compare that to their current rotation of Archer, Hellickson, Smiley, Cobb, and Odorizzi. That's the second youngest starting staff in the American League.
That's a pretty nice group of 5 there, and I think Jim Hickey is thrilled to work with that bunch. It's nothing like having good young arms, and this future is very bright. They've always built around pitching. They felt it's very important, and the acquisition of Drew Smiley adds to that mix.
Hickey is in his 8th season as the pitching coach for Tampa Bay, and he is very animated. He likes the pitchers to command their fastball. He likes them to use the changeup. But he's got a nice core of young pitchers to work with. And Joe, you know this, when you have any group, whether it's a group of young infielders, a group of young relief pitchers, or a group of young starters, they push each other.
Absolutely. It's a great healthy competition, and I think that's what you're going to see here. Not that David Price wasn't part of that, but once they made this trade, they've got a group now that they're going to move forward with.
Encarnacion behind 1 and 2. Upstairs. Full count.
That's the cutter right there. It's at 86, but you can call it a slider if you want, but it's the cutter, and that's the one with more depth that we're talking about. He's looking for a swing right there. Did not get it from Edwin, but that's the pitch. Now sometimes he'll throw it. He may throw it 3-2 and keep it a little flatter.
That ball is hammered into center field. Jennings can really go get him, and he runs it down short of the warning track. 13 straight set down by Drew Smiley. Will go to the 8th, 7-0 Rays. Todd Redmond coming into the game. will come into the ball game to pitch in his 36th game of the season. Redmond last pitched on Tuesday in Milwaukee. He went 2 innings, was charged with 2 runs on 3 hits, and had a strikeout, so he's on in relief of Kyle Drabek.
Todd's done an outstanding job in the Blue Jays bullpen this season. He's been used in many roles. He just had a big hiccup last Friday in the Chicago against the White Sox. He gave up 5 earned runs. It was a career high in 2/3 of an inning.
James Loney, the first baseman, has gone 0 for 4. Redmond delivers a strike. It's 1-1.
Redmond's not flashy. He'll be around 91 miles per hour, slider and changeup, and he really tries to change arm angles, create some deception. But he's done a very nice job in the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
And breaking ball is hit into the seats down the left field line.
John Gibbons been using him in a long roll most of the season. Unfortunately for Todd's been coming in kind of games like this, but he had been pitching so well that Gibby started using him in closer games, using him as in more prominent, important roles later in the ball games. But he had a rough one in Chicago, but he's still been very effective.
Loney strikes out. That's the first out of the 8th inning. Rogers customers can watch the Blue Jays on Sportsnet live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com/sports to get started. Not exactly how the Blue Jays had hoped the homestand would get off. This is the first game of a 9-game homestand, first to 3 against Tampa Bay. Will Myers has had an interesting night. He has walked twice and struck out twice.
I think the most discouraging thing too is leaving Milwaukee on Wednesday after scoring 9 runs, 15 hits. You'd like to think that the offense was getting going, contributions from throughout the lineup as we talked about in the open, but Drew Smyly had other thoughts here tonight at Rogers Center.
Blue Jays hit a couple of home runs in that game in Milwaukee. Bautista a 3-run home run and Colby Rasmus a 2-run homer. And we had mentioned how the Blue Jays have hit 77 home runs here at Rogers Center. That's the most home runs hit by an American League club in their home ballpark. There's a long drive to left field. Melky Cabrera will watch this one sail into the seats. Will Myers' first hit since coming off the disabled list on Wednesday is his 6th home run of the season.
And this is where Todd Redmond can be susceptible, and this somewhat what happened to him giving up those 5 earned runs in Chicago last Friday is he can be up in the zone. He tries to change his arm angles and the ball gets elevated. There's not a whole lot on it. You can see he gets on the side of this baseball, but look at that ball running right in about thigh high to Myers, and that is homer happy zone right there. You do not want to miss.
Comes right back with a strike to Escobar.
The difficult thing when you drop down with a pitch is exactly that. That ball can flatten out and stay elevated, and that's exactly what happens to Redmond on occasion. Good hitters make him pay.
Escobar lines it to Bautista in right. That's the 2nd out of the inning. So Will Myers finally gets a hit since coming back off the disabled list. He was activated on Wednesday. His first hit tonight. He walked twice, struck out twice, and then homered.
A very welcome bat to this lineup here. They're still trying to make a run. The Rays, they're not giving up yet, and of course with the pitching that they have, they are in every ball game.
Kurt Casale's had a nice night. He's gone 2 for 4. Bottom 3 in the order, 7, 8, 9 have combined to get 6 hits tonight. 6 of the 14 hits coming from the bottom 3rd of the order. Escobar, Casale, and Kiermaier.
I thought it was a very interesting comment that the Rays pitching coach Jim Hickey made today, talking about Casale and catching, smiling, what a nice job he's done. But He talked about how good he is at calling a game and executing the game plan, attacking the hitters the way that they want to attack them. And as we said, there are catchers that will kind of do their own thing, and sometimes you'll get that out of veteran catchers, but he is on board, and so is Drew Smyly.
Off the end of the bat, Reyes waits on it. In time at first, and the inning is over. Tampa Bay adds a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-0 Tampa Bay. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Sunday, August 31st, when the Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees. It's a 107 start. First 20,000 fans into Rogers Center will receive a Blue Jays long sleeve baseball shirt. Call the Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com to order your tickets for the Yankees homestand. The Blue Jays will give away that long sleeve baseball shirt on Sunday, August 31st. And oh, by the way, that will be Derek Jeter's final game here at Rogers Center, playing for the New York Yankees, his 20-year career coming to an end. Drew Smyly is just starting out on his career, and he's had a good night tonight. 7 innings, 2 hits, hasn't walked a batter and struck out 3, and he's only thrown 86 pitches. He's retired the last 13 batters he's faced. It'll be Valencia, Navarro, and Rasmus. Valencia goes after the first pitch and hooks it foul.
You may say down 8-0. Why are they swinging at the first pitch? But you know what? Drew Smyly's just pounding the strike zone. So this is not a case where you're trying to get runners on, and especially with the score at 8. Go and get your hacks right now.
Smyly has only thrown 14 balls tonight. That's the 15th. Ball and a strike to Valencia. Tampa Bay begins this series as the 26 straight games against the AL East through September 17th. 9 versus Toronto, 7 against the Orioles, 6 versus the Yankees, and 4 against Boston. There's a good curveball, and Valencia strikes out. That's just the 4th strikeout for Drew Smyly.
Just continuing to change speeds, change the plane with the breaking ball. He had elevated a fastball. He is just really pitching tonight. Not dominant in terms of the strikeouts. It's only his 4th strikeout of the night. Pitching to contact for the most part, but he's changing speeds so well, changing the plane, and really moving the ball in and out. That's pitching 101.
This is his 4th start with the Rays, his first career start against the Blue Jays. You've caught pitchers like this in the past when they have everything working, and then you sit behind the plate and say, okay, I'm going to try one of these, now one of those, and a couple of these. And you can throw anything you want.
Everything you try, they execute the pitch. You want to come inside, get it in there, he does it.
Bouncing ball. Zobrist was shaded up the middle. 2 down. Yesterday, there were 5 shutouts in the major leagues. Alex Cobb threw a 1-0 shutout against the Tigers. David Price in that game retired the final 23 he faced. Tampa Bay 1-0 over Detroit. The Yankees beat Houston 3-0. Both pitchers going the distance. Dallas Keuchel and Brandon McCarthy in that game. The Angels beat Boston 2-0. Matt Shoemaker went 7 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. And then Atlanta 8-0 over Cincinnati. How about Washington? They won 1-0, scoring a run in the bottom of the 9th on a throwing error. And they have really gotten hot.
There's some special stuff going on in D.C. They've had, what, 4 or 5 walk-offs the last week?
Kobe Erasmus hits this one to right. Right to the right fielder, Kevin Kiermaier. 16 straight set down by Drew Smyly. He's in total command. 8-0 Rays. Brett Cecil coming into the game. Cincinnati 8-0 behind Julio Teheran yesterday. 6 innings of 4 hit ball for Teheran, and tonight Mike Minor. 7 innings, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts over Cincinnati. Brett Cecil in the ball game. This will be his 52nd game of the season.
Cecil pitching to a 3.6 ERA. The walks have haunted him a little bit. 22 walks in his 40 innings of work, but 53 strikeouts, and it's been the power of the curveball. Been very good to him to get those strikeouts.
Josh Tolley behind the plate, taking over for Deanna Navarro. On the ground, Tollison to his right. You better hurry. Kiermaier makes it close. 1 down. Get unlimited access to over 100 of the world's best magazines on your tablet with Next Issue. Baseball fans, sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Cecil gets a ground out. First batter here in the 9th. Desmond Jennings, leadoff man. Boy, the pitching around baseball has really been dominant. Talk about that Yankees shutout, 3-0 over Houston. 2 hours and 7 minutes.
That's a baseball game.
Fastest 9-inning game at New Yankee Stadium. Dallas Keuchel took the loss. Brandon McCarthy went 9 innings, threw a shutout, just the 4 hits allowed, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 8. Neither starter walked a batter in that ball game. It's interesting, that's the first game in almost 4 years, over 4 years, where both starters had a complete game and neither walked a batter. Last time it happened in 2010, Carl Pavano and Mark Burley, White Sox at Minnesota. Burley went 8 innings, took the loss, 3-2 ball game. That ball game lasted all of an hour and 52 minutes.
We just don't see that anymore.
Mark Burley and Carl Pavano both with complete games, neither pitcher walking a batter. The last time the Blue Jays were involved in a game like that, where both starters threw a complete game and didn't walk a batter, you have to go all the way back to 1983. That was the Yankees in Toronto at Exhibition Stadium. Ron Guidry and Jim Clancy both threw complete games. Guidry gave up 14 hits. 6 runs, 14 hits. He went 8 innings and didn't walk a batter and struck out 7. Clancy went 9 innings, gave up 9 hits and 2 runs. He was the winner. The Blue Jays won 6-2. But there were 8 runs scored, 23 hits in the ball game, and the game took 2 hours and 17 minutes.
If you don't walk people and you throw strikes, that equals quicker games. So that's what they need to do for this time of games issue. Just throw more strikes.
There's a ball in the dirt.
Well, we've said how often, though, throwing strikes is the key ingredient for pitchers, but it's not just throwing strikes. They need to be quality strikes, because we've seen pitchers throw strikes very well, but they get tattooed out there. So you can't just lay the ball out over the plate. But when you watch a Drew Smyly work tonight, he's throwing strikes, but he's throwing quality strikes.
There is a quality strike. Desmond Jennings strikes out. 2 up, 2 down for Cecil here in the 9th.
You got to believe the shifts have a little bit to do with the struggling offenses as well. Obviously, with technology now, they're loading up areas where hitters are more inclined to hit the baseball, so you're going to get more outs. But at the same time, we've also seen hitters beat shifts. So it's this constant chess game. I think we're seeing shifts at an all-time high right now. And if I were to predict in the next few years, it's going to slowly settle back. Maybe not to where it used to be, but much less than what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think you're right. As hitters have to make adjustments. And Zobrist will turn around and bat right-handed again. He hit right-handed against Loop in the 6th and got an RBI base hit through the right side of the infield.
And I think good hitters make those adjustments. We've commented about Edwin Encarnacion this year. Jose Bautista has shown that he will go back up the middle the other way on occasion.
Yeah, you just can't keep banging your head against the wall. If it's not working, you got to make changes.
And I know with Jose, he'll pick his spots. If it's a time when he thinks he can just drive one, he'll try to hit it through the shift. But if it's a time in the ball game that he can shoot something the other way, maybe move a runner along or score a go-ahead run, he'll take the base hit in that situation. That's just smart baseball.
Brett Cecil is the 4th reliever to work for the Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman started. He lasted 5 innings plus 3 batters. Charged with 6 runs, 5 earned runs, and he gave up 10 hits.
Well, the pitcher does not enter the game not wanting the feel on his breaking ball, but what happened tonight is Marcus Stroman just did not have the feel for his secondary pitch, the curve or the slider. He was able to throw the cutter and the changeup at times, but you have to be able to throw more than just your fastball. If your changeup is your second pitch, that's fine, but he was just elevated in the zone too much tonight.
Little chopper out in front of home. Tolle gets on it. That ends the inning. Zobrist out 2-3. 3 up, 3 down for Cecil. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It's all Tampa Bay. 8-0. Drew Smyly, a 2-hitter. East Ontario and West, it's Connected with Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. And on Pacific, the Angels in Oakland to take on the Athletics. Hector Santiago goes to the mound for L.A. Sonny Gray will toe the rubber for the Athletics. And right now, Drew Smyly is in the driver's seat. Smyly, just 2 hits allowed. He has retired the last 16 batters that have come to the plate. The theme of pitching continues. We mentioned yesterday with 5 shutouts, that's the highest total in the major leagues on a game, which 8 or fewer games were played since April of 1966. For some reason, the pitching has really taken charge here this season. Strikeouts are up, offense is down, and the shifts have to have something to do with it.
Yeah, that's the big one for me, is the strikeouts being up so high.
Ground ball. Escobar was in the hole, throws on the run. 1 down. With 1 out, now it's time for a preview of what's coming up next on Connected. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. Thank you, Ken. You can see all of that right after this ball game with Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. 1 down. Steve Tollefson was the last Blue Jay to reach against Drew Smyly. It was way back in the 3rd inning. He had a 2-out single.
That's his 4-seam fastball right there. He's just coming out after falling behind 1-0, so he's got that. But what we're seeing mostly out of Drew tonight is that little cutter and the way he's manipulating it, both getting more depth on it as well as just the cutter in on right-handers. He's using both sides of the plate. He has just pitched extremely well. Very difficult for hitters to sit on any pitch on any particular count when he's got them all going on like this.
Certainly a good way to endear yourself with your new team. Come out and throw 4 straight good games. Taking over for David Price. He's pitching like David Price.
Got to be a lot of fun for Drew, too. He's coming from a team in Detroit where he had major contributions last year out of that Tigers bullpen. Key part of why they did what they did last year. But coming here now, and you're coming to a new team, and he knows that he's going to be in a very young and healthy rotation.
This is the longest outing of his career. 8 1/3. Previous longest outing was against Texas.
I don't know how you don't get that call when you've been around the plate all night long. Jim Hickey's thinking the same thing.
This is popped up and playable. Loney in foul ground.
Well, Smiley's not a big strikeout pitcher, but he'll get you on occasion. And there's the slow breaking ball. He'll call it the slider, but that's the one with more depth. That's even more depth. Edwin chasing that ball. That's the cutter to the outside part of the plate, back door to the right-hander, and there it is again. So you see he gets more depth on some of them than others, but he's using both sides of the plate, and he has just been very effective. Blue Jays hitters have just not had a chance. They've just not felt comfortable in the batter's box. Good pitching will do that to you.
Bouncing ball. Zobrist at second. That's the ball game. Drew Smyly with his first career complete game shutout. Back-to-back shutouts spun by Tampa Bay. 1-0 yesterday. And the starters converging around Drew Smyly near the mound. Kiermaier did a good job out of the number 9 spot. Evan Longoria got things started with a leadoff home run, but this was all Tampa Bay tonight.
Well, this is the Drew Smyly show tonight is what it was, and you can see that camaraderie right there. Drew with his new team, his starting rotation. Those guys are going to grow together right now. Jim Hickey's got a nice little group of students, and they're going to move forward. But this Tampa club, they've always been built around pitching. They're going to continue to do that. They start swinging the bats, they're going to make some noise, but it may be too little too late.
Tuesday in Milwaukee, the Blue Jays went down in order. The final 24 retired by the Brewers. Tonight, the final 19 set down by Drew Smyly. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Connected. Coming right up.